Welcome. My name is Braulio Rosa. I'm the Executive Director of the Broward County Bar Association. I am thrilled that we're doing this program to recognize amazing judges of Hispanic descent from around the state. I'm here with my partner in doing these kind of programs, the great Aaron Gibson, who is the immediate past president of the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association, and he is a current member, board member of the Broward County Bar Association. He's going to help me do these intros, but I want to say that I'm thrilled that the two organizations got together, the BCBA, the Broward County Bar, and the Broward County Hispanic Bar, in partnership with the following bar associations to put this program together. So let me go through this to make sure we hit all of them. The Hispanic National Bar Association, the Jacksonville Bar Association, the St. Petersburg Bar Association, the Escambia Santa Rosa Bar Association, the Palm Beach Bar Association, and I apologize, the Palm Beach Hispanic Bar Association, South Palm Beach Bar Association, North Dade Bar Association, the Cuban American Bar Association, and the Puerto Rican Bar Association of Florida. And so with that, Aaron, would you like to provide some remarks on the genesis and the why of this event?
Sure. Thank you for joining us, everybody, and thank you, Braulio, for the intro. This has already been said during previous Zoom events, but it bears repeating. Back in 2019 in Broward County, there were several of us from different organizations that realized that there was a void and a need to host an event celebrating Hispanic judges within our own county. So we did that in 2019 live when we used to do things in person. And there were so many people that gave us great feedback that we did it again now in 2020, just a couple days ago. But we also realized now in 2020 that there was another void and another need, and that was to host an event recognizing and celebrating Hispanic judges statewide across the great state of Florida. So tonight is a historic night because this is the first ever event that is statewide for the Hispanic legal community of Florida. This is the first time that this many counties have unified to celebrate not only Hispanic judges, but also Hispanic Heritage Month. So all of you can say, I was there when it first started. And we thank you all for joining us. We're gonna be mentioning some of our dignitaries and our sponsors in just a second. Braulio?
Yes, I'm going to be slow because I'm going to be muting and unmuting here. And so kind of just to lead into that, great segue, you know, Hispanic Heritage Month to me is a great time to celebrate our judges and great lawyers. And I always like to say that Hispanic heritage is American heritage. You know, we've been part of this fabric for a long time. So I take great pride in helping being one of those persons that can facilitate the recognition of our great judges throughout the state. Aaron, tell us a little bit about our sponsors.
Well, we couldn't do this without sponsors, so we'd like to thank them. We have Gary S. Lesser, the managing partner of Lesser, Landy & Smith, PLLC, our title sponsor. We'd also like to thank Todd Baker, the president-elect, and of the Florida Bar Young Lawyers Division. They've also sponsored us tonight, as well as Stephen W. Davis, with Boys Schiller Flexner LLP, as well as Lorna E. Brown Burton, PA, with Lou Bell Rosen, who also happens to be one of our Florida bar governors here in Broward County.
Okay, Aaron, and with that, I would like to, you're going to do our dignitaries right now, sir.
Sure. We'd also like to welcome all of our dignitaries who are in attendance. Aside from those judges receiving awards and our keynote speaker, we also have from the 4th DCA, Judge Alan Forst; from the 4th Circuit, Judge Kimberly Sadler; from the 6th Circuit, Judges Patrice W. Moore, Myra Scott McNary; from the 9th Circuit, Judge Gisela Laurent; from the 11th Circuit, Judge William Atfield, Betsy Alvarez Zane, Christina Rivera Correa, Elijah A. Levitt, Carlos Lopez, Robert T. Watson, Luis Perez Medina; from the 13th Circuit, Judge Michael Bagay Hernandez; from the 15th Circuit, Judges Carolyn Bell and Kathleen Kroll; from our own 17th Circuit, Broward County, Judge Florence Barner, Betsy Benson, Deborah Carpenter-Toy, Hunter N. Davis, Fabian Fanistock, Keith and Frank, Kenneth Gottlieb, Frank Leday, Jeffrey R. Levinson, Olga Levine, Kathleen McCarthy, Kim Teresa Malika, Tarlika Nunez Navarro, Sandra Perlman, Carlos A. Rodriguez, Carlos Rebolo, Michael A. Robinson, Marina Garcia Wood, as well as General Magistrates Lucy Ramos Miller and Rudolph Morel. We also have U.S. Magistrate Bruce Reinhart from the Southern District of Florida. We also have North Lauderdale Mayor Anna Zaidi, as well as Weston Commissioner Mary Molina McAfee. We also have from UM Assistant Dean Georgina A. Angonez, as well as Iris Elijah from the Florida Bar Young Lawyers Division Board of Governors. And finally, Todd Baker, Young Lawyers Division President-elect. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being here.
And with that, I'd also like to introduce our moderators for the day. We have Kelsey Burke, who's president of the Palm Beach County Bars, Hispanic Bar Association. She serves on the Board of Young Lawyers section of the Palm Beach County Bar Association. She's chair of Law Week Committee and a parliamentarian on the Board of Women's Chamber of Commerce of Palm Beach. She's an attorney at Lytle, Ryder, Smith, Ivy, Fronrath, where she represents clients in the area of personal injury, wrongful death, auto negligence, premises liability. L.A. Perkins is the president of South Palm Beach County Bar Association. She also currently serves as member of the Florida Bar Grievance Committee 15F. She is a founding partner of, I'm going to mess this up, Perkins Persh, close, PLLC, a brand protection law firm where she focuses her practice on intellectual property matters. Dean Zinnick is president of Palm Beach County Bar Association. He is an attorney at Reed Baum Lebedecker Zinnick Pepin, where he practices plaintiff's personal injury and complex commercial litigation. Lisa Capote is president of the Hispanic National Bar Association Region 8. She also serves as the Florida Bar Leadership Academy Committee as a chairman of nonprofit CNC, providing services to underserved Latino community. She owns her own practice where she practices FDA regulation compliance. Frances de la Guardia is president of the Cuban American Bar Association. She also serves on the St. Thomas Law School Advisory Board and is the law school's Alumni Association president. She's a partner at Holland Knight, where she practices in litigation group, appellate group, and is a certified Florida Supreme Court mediator in circuit civil appeals. Sean Mcquaid is the president of the St. Petersburg Bar Association, has served on the Judicial Nominating Commission of the 6th Judicial Circuit, and served as chairman of the St. Petersburg Nuisance Abatement Board. He is president of Battaglia, Ross, Dicus, and Mcquaid, where he represents clients in personal injury, criminal defense, general civil litigation. Michelle Bedoya Barnett is president of Jacksonville Bar Association. She also serves as a board member of the Jacksonville Aviation Authority. She is an attorney at Alexander DeGance Barnett, where she represents employers and educational institutions in both single and multi-plaintiff litigation. Elizabeth Rodriguez is chairperson of the Hispanic Lawyer Committee of the Broward County Bar Association, a director of the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association, and a board member of the Broward County Women Lawyers Association. She works for Florida Attorney General as an assistant statewide prosecutor. Karina Rodriguez is the president of the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association, a 17th Circuit representative of the Florida Bar Young Lawyers Division of the Governors, and vice chair of Voluntary Bar Liaison Committee of the Broward County Bar Association. She's an attorney at Kelly Ustall, where she represents clients with catastrophic injuries. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our wonderful president, first Jamaican American president of the Broward County Bar Association, Robert Vaughn, to introduce our Chief Judge, Jack Tudor.
Good evening, everyone. And I bid you, on behalf of the Board of Directors, our staff, and all 4,000 members of the Broward County Bar Association, a warm and wonderful virtual welcome to the 17th for this historic and amazing celebration. It is said that true leadership is the ability to facilitate participation, to create consensus, and to inspire positive change. In just 2 short terms as our Chief Judge of the 17th Judicial Circuit, Chief Judge Jack Tudor has led our circuit through what is indisputably its most dynamic period of inclusion and change, and also through a global pandemic. So please help me bid welcome and a happy belated birthday to Chief Judge Jack Tudor, a wonderful representative of the third branch of government and a friend to bar associations across the state. Judge?
Thank you, Robert. You failed to mention 3 hurricanes as well, so I'll let you go on that one, as well as a pandemic. So welcome everybody tonight. This is really kind of a historic event. I give all the kudos to our Broward County Bar Association, Braulio, and his entire staff, and the forward thinking. This is the 2nd or 3rd event I think we've done, maybe just this year, where we invited bar associations from all over the state to participate. I heard the list of judges from all over the state that are joining us tonight. I welcome all of you to the 17th Judicial Circuit down here in Broward County. And I want to recognize my colleague here, Judge Soto, who we have been laboring on all of these recent events, and we keep close touch with each other, even though it seems like we're 100 miles apart sometimes in the decisions we have to make. But lastly, I want to recognize our justice who has joined us tonight. One of the, well, I guess he's not the youngest of the justices anymore. He's moved up the ladder already in just a few weeks. Justice Coriel, who's joining us tonight. And so I welcome all of you all to this event. And we did one for our local judges, as someone said just the other night. It was a fantastic event, well attended. And I noticed the list of all of my colleagues who were on joining us from the 17th. I welcome all of you all. I know everybody works all day, and then we do these events at night. Makes for a long day, but it's well worth it. And I congratulate all of the folks who we invited to be a part of this and who are going to receive various recognition. So welcome to the 17th, and thank you, Braulio and Robert, for all your hard work on this event.
Thank you, Chief. And I was remiss and got frazzled by my dog over here. We have a video, a welcome video from our title sponsor, Mr. Gary Lesser. Lauren, can you put that on for us?
Good evening and welcome. I'm Gary Lesser, managing partner of Lesser, Landy & Smith, and our firm is proud to be the title sponsor for this amazing event. What a great way to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. The 2020 Florida Jurist, Recognizing Hispanic Excellence, is a look at some of our exceptional Hispanic judges throughout the state of Florida. Their accomplishments and careers will certainly cause many others to follow in their path, and that should be saluted as well. This first-time event, the collaboration between 10 voluntary bar associations, is really extraordinary, and events like these strengthen our community and strengthen our legal profession. It's going to be a great program tonight, and we're glad to be a part of this. Congratulations to the judges being honored and for leadership that put this event together. Enjoy the program.
Braulio, we have a couple of dignitaries that I was just informed of that need to be announced. We
Okay.
also have Judge Andrea Gunderson, Judge Jose Izquierdo, and Jay Kim, one of our Florida bar governors from the 17th Circuit as well.
Welcome to all, and thank you for being here. And hey, Gary, thank you for supporting this event. We're very grateful. Okay, and with that, I'm going to introduce, I think it is Elizabeth's turn to introduce the justice.
Thank you everybody for joining us this evening. My name is Elizabeth Rodriguez. I'm the chairperson of the Hispanic Lawyers Committee for the Broward County Bar Association. And I have the pleasure of introducing Justice John D. Coriel. Just a little bit about him. He received his Bachelor of Arts from Harvard College and his law degree from Harvard as well. He began his law career as a clerk to Judge John D. Bates of the United States District Court of the District of Columbia. He also served as an assistant state attorney for the Southern District of Florida. He was an attorney at Davis, Polk, and Wardwell LLP, and was a partner at Cobre & Kim in Miami, where he worked on cross-border disputes and investigations before being appointed to the bench by Governor DeSantis in May of this year. May seems so long ago, but really not that long at all. Justice Coriel is the 90th Justice of the Supreme Court, and his Hispanic background is Cuban American. So thank you, Justice, for joining us this evening. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that very kind introduction. And thank you all for the invitation to join you at this historic event. I would not have guessed a year ago that I would be here for all sorts of reasons. First of all, the whole Brady Bunch presentation, I don't think any of us would have foreseen. But I certainly did not see myself as recently as a year ago, having been given the great charge and honor that I've been given to serve all of you and our state on this wonderful court. I'd like to, from the many honorees we have, and I recognize all of you for your contributions to our profession. I want to recognize Chief Judge Soto, my chief, who graciously has allowed me to camp in one of the 11th Judicial Circuit's buildings. I'm sort of an interloper and nobody really knows who I am. Today I went downstairs to pick up a Jimmy John sandwich and everyone looked at me like, who's that guy? Is he a judge? I think he's a judge, but I'm not sure. He's not a judge. We don't know. His name's not here. So it's been a very good and welcoming place, and also a very good reminder that to be a judge is to be a servant. I think the very brief remark I'd share with this particular group is, we are all of us blessed to be from such a diverse community. The word Hispanic contains so many different traditions. You could be from 40 different countries and claim to be Hispanic. We have some very important things in common, and so many different things that we celebrate our diversity. And one of the things that we have in common on sort of a serious note is that we tend to come from places where the rule of law perhaps does not have the appreciation and legacy that it does here in the United States. And it makes it such a blessing for us to be able in this country to give effect to the rule of law in our daily work. It is a tremendous honor to do so, and a very powerful reminder, especially when we travel in Latin America. In my prior job, I traveled to Latin America a lot. I've been to just about every country in the hemisphere. And one of the things that always struck me in a lot of Latin America, this is increasingly true in the US, alarmingly perhaps, is that on television, the TV judges in Latin America were seen as the true lawgivers. In Argentina, a man named Luis Moreno Ocampo almost became president of Argentina because he was their Judge Wapner. And all he did was explain why he came out the way he did. And that made him a jurist in a way that the real jurists of his country, Argentina, could not match. There was a randomness, there was an arbitrariness to the decisions, and it made him very important. He ultimately went on to be the chief prosecutor of the International Criminal Court, someone I consider a friend and a mentor. But that lesson, that just by saying why and reasoning to conclusions, we do justice, is something that I think everyone from a Hispanic background, whatever country you're from or your parents are from, can appreciate. On a lighter note, one of the things we all have in common is we all have abuelitas. And that there may be no more important thing to make somebody Hispanic than an abuelita. And mine was probably before me, well before me, convinced that I would someday do what I'm doing now. I recall when I was in Spain, she made me go take a picture of myself in front of a statue in Cordoba of my favorite Hispanic judge and lawgiver, Maimonides, the 12th century rabbi and teacher who in his Guide to the Perplexed wrote, accept the truth wherever it comes from. And I think there is no better way to prepare oneself for the judicial role than to embrace that fact, that the truth can come from any party, rich or poor, and can come from any source, vaulted or base. And I think it's the job of the judge to labor and seek the truth wherever it may come from. And I am so very honored that I get to do that for my state. I'm so very honored that I get to be with you today and to be a member of this wonderful group of groups. And I hope you'll all consider me an advocate and supporter of your mission. And to the extent that there's anything I can do personally, or that we can do as the Supreme Court of this state, I hope you'll call on me and on us, because there is no higher obligation than to find the truth where it can be found, and to be of service to our state. So thank you all very much for inviting me to participate tonight.
And the silent claps. Thank you so much, Justice. We're grateful that you took time. We know you're very busy, so it's very special for us to have you here with us. I would like to ask Todd Baker, the president-elect of the Young Lawyers Division, to jump on and say a few words. But Todd, before you do, I want to welcome Judge Ginger. Who's jumping on now?
Judge Ginger Lerner-Wren from the 17th Circuit. Welcome.
Thank you.
And if we've missed any dignitaries, please let us know in Zoom chat.
Please do.
Thank you, Braulio and Aaron, for the kind introduction and for putting this event together. On behalf of the Young Lawyers Division of the Florida Bar, when we saw this event coming together, we knew we wanted to be a part of it. Inclusion and equality is such an important goal for the Florida Bar and the Young Lawyers Division. Our Wild Diaz Me campaign is focused on diversity within the Young Lawyers Division. We want all of our attorneys to know that regardless of your race, religion, orientation, creed, or ability, the Florida Bar is your bar. Our judiciary should also reflect that diversity, and each of you being recognized tonight, along with every jurist in Florida of Hispanic descent, is integral to that. Judges like you are an inspiration, not only to young lawyers, but to litigants and the general public. You help show kids that they too can be a judge, a chief judge, and even a Florida Supreme Court justice, that they can serve their community and be an example for generations to follow. And for those of Hispanic descent in need of or having contact with the legal system, it is so important for them to know that someone from their community is part of the system. Thanks to you, they know they're represented. I want to take a special moment to recognize Judge Luis Delgado, who is a former YLD Board of Governor. Congratulations on being recognized, and congratulations again to everyone. Thank you to Braulio, the Broward County Bar Association, and every bar organization involved for allowing us to celebrate these incredible jurists and Hispanic Heritage Month. Felicidades, and let's go Heat.
I love it. Thanks, Todd. Thanks. And now I'd like to welcome our sister national organization, Lisa Capote, who's the president of the regional Hispanic, state national, but Hispanic National Bar Association. She's the regional president. Lisa.
It's a mouthful. Thank you, Braulio. I wanted to take a couple of minutes of your time to thank the Broward County Bar Association for inviting us to co-sponsor this event. One of the HMBA's missions is to promote, retain, and encourage diversity amongst our legal profession, the judiciary, as well as the legislature. And it's through organizations like the Broward County Bar Association and the Broward Hispanic Bar Association that we're able to achieve our goals together. Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I look forward to this evening's events.
Thank you, Lisa. And then I'd like to thank one of our other sponsors, and he has a few words, Mr. Stephen Davis, who sponsored this event. Thank you very much. And Lauren, will you play that?
Hello, my name is Steve Davis, and I'm running for president-elect of the Florida Bar. I am honored to be a co-sponsor of this event, recognizing Hispanic excellence. I have witnessed that excellence firsthand practicing law here in Miami. I congratulate all of the honorees, with particular congratulations to Florida Supreme Court Justice John Coryell and my favorite Chief Judge, Bertila Soto from Miami. Congratulations to all of you for your fine service to this people of Florida. We are lucky to have you on our bench. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Steve. We appreciate it. We're grateful. All right. And with that, I think we are ready to move on to the meat and potatoes of this program. All of our honorees will receive Obviously, this is COVID time, so you know, we can't hand deliver them. So we're going to be having the various presidents, you know, interviewing and talking to these much deserving judges. But there they are, so that you can see them. They're beautiful. We will be shipping them to them, and they're well deserved. So congratulations, Your Honors. Excellent. So I'd like to first invite Jacksonville President Michelle Bedoya Barnett. And
Buenas tardes. Thank you, Braulio. It's my pleasure today to introduce Judge Tatiana Salvador. Judge Salvador is the first Hispanic Circuit Court judge here in the Fourth Circuit. I had the pleasure of serving on the Judicial Nominating Commission when she came through, and I can tell you all that her accomplishments and her preparation over the years to become a judge are second to none. She truly is well deserving of this position. And I've said it before, I suspect the circuit court benches, but her first appointment. She was appointed by Governor Scott in 2012 to the bench. She's a native of Jacksonville, went to the Bowles School, graduated from Duke University undergrad, and then Florida Law School, go Gators. Coming out of law school, Judge Salvador worked at the state attorney's office before going into private practice at the prestigious law firm of Rogers Towers. It was then that she was appointed to the bench. I could go on and on about Judge Salvador's accomplishments. She was a founding member of the Northeast Florida Hispanic Bar Association. She has served on the City of Jacksonville Ethics Commission. She's currently president-elect of the Chester Bedell Inns of Court and serves on the executive council of the criminal law section of the Florida Bar. She has 3 children, her husband Julio, who's also an attorney, and a beautiful family behind her. From the land of Shakira, Carlos Vives, the best coffee in the world, and according to both of our fathers, the best soccer in the world. From Barranquilla, Colombia, I present to you all my paisana, Judge Tatiana Salvador. Judge Salvador, congratulations on this award. You're so deserving of this award. On behalf of the Jacksonville Bar Association, the Fourth Circuit, you represent us well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Michelle. And thank you to the Jacksonville Bar Association and to the coalition of statewide voluntary bar organizations for including me in this historic inaugural event and for recognizing Hispanic jurists from around the state. It really is an honor. I am so, so grateful. But I'm not here today because of any singular action that I took, but because I have been fortunate enough to have amazing mentors and teachers throughout my life and my professional career who have guided me well. Too many to name and individually thank here. But I would not have achieved any successes or accomplished what I have, or frankly, be the person that I am today without the love and support of my parents, Alejandro and Diana Ravi. I know they are watching. I know they are very proud of me, and I am equally proud of them. Muy, pero muy orgullosa. You see, in 1967, my parents emigrated from Barranquilla, Colombia. Yes, the great city that produced Shakira and Sofia Vergara. And they came to this United States where they had no family and few friends. My mother did not speak the language when she first came here, and she went straight to work at the local hospital, cleaning dirty surgical equipment. And my father became a doctor, the only one in his family, and he worked hard and worked long to provide for his family. So honestly, had it not been for my parents' sacrifices, I would not have been able to obtain the fine education that I did at Duke and at the University of Florida, and then to embark on an honorable career in the law. As you heard, first as a prosecutor, then in private practice, and then here on the bench. It is truly their bravery and courage in moving to this new land that motivates me and inspires me every single day. And perhaps even more important is that my immigrant parents instilled in me a greater appreciation for those liberties and freedoms that we often take for granted. What Justice Curiel talked about, equality and democracy under our rule of law. You know, my parent and my dad, even though he was a Colombian national, served honorably in the United States Army. And my parents later became US citizens. And like them, I am a proud American, but I am also incredibly proud to be a Latina. And as my parents did with me, I am raising my children to be proud of their culture and their heritage as well. And although they are now one more generation removed, they are, like me, Colombian Americans, although my Cuban husband would beg to differ. Either way, though, we are very proud of our Hispanic heritage and our culture and the contributions that Hispanics have made throughout this state. And I know and would like to think that this honor that you're bestowing upon me today recognizes that. So again, I thank you so much for the honor.
Thank you, Judge Salvador. Yes, many congratulations to you and to your family. Felicitaciones, Alejandro y Diana, and Julio, and to your children who I'm sure are watching as well. You should be very proud. So to those of you watching, you may not know Judge Salvador quite as well as I do, but I can tell you that she speaks Spanish equally as beautifully as she does English. And those who appear before her on the bench might not know the behind the scenes version of the Honorable Tatiana Salvador. Tell us about your familia, your esposo, your herederos, your suegros. Tell us, what are some things that you would like everyone to know about yourself?
Well, you know, as you've heard, my parents and my extended family are, of course, from Colombia. And while I was born and raised in this country, I grew up spending every summer of my life from the time I was an infant well into my teens, staying for months with family in Barranquilla, in Cartagena, in Valledupar, and in Santa Marta. And again, even though I was raised in this country, I grew up in a very traditional Hispanic household with my parents, with my sister, and with my abuelita who lived with us. And of course, my upbringing included all of those important elements of a Hispanic heritage, not just the Spanish language, of course, but the Spanish food. You know, we ate sancocho on Sundays and prepared pasteles for Navidad. And the music, and in particular, the Colombian vallenatos that Carlos Vives sings so well. But also my upbringing included that we cherish so much in our culture, which is a love, appreciation, and respect for our parents and our elders, and an emphasis on education and hard work. And of course, because of my love of all things Hispanic, that led me to marry my husband, Julio Salvador, from Miami, as you've heard, Cuban American as well. We met in law school, we married, and we have 3 wonderful children who keep us very busy and entertained.
Thank you, Judge Salvador. Judge Salvador, I know in preparing for today, one of the things that we discussed is what it has meant to you to be a Hispanic judge. I mentioned in the opening remarks that you're the first Hispanic circuit court judge in this area. What has that meant to you and to the Jacksonville community?
Well, I'll tell you, and to be honest, when I first became a judge, I didn't think about it as being a Hispanic judge. I just thought about it as being a judge. I was so incredibly excited to start this journey and to do this job and to learn everything that I could. But I did notice in short order that pretty soon I was being invited to be interviewed by our Hispanic newspaper and our Hispanic magazine, and invited to speak by the Hispanic student groups at our local law school, and just in general being invited to different boards and organizations because of my Hispanic heritage and background. I guess I didn't appreciate at first how important it was for others to see someone like me, or actually to see someone like them, to be elevated to this position. But I certainly appreciate it now. It is really incredibly humbling to be placed in a position whereby I am, in a sense, representing my culture. And so I take it very seriously because I want to make my Latino community proud.
Judge Salvador, you do make the Latino community proud. You make all of Jacksonville and the state of Florida proud. And I'm sure Governor Scott will forever be proud of the appointment that he made in you. I look forward to your continued success. Congratulations on behalf of all of us in receiving this award. You're most deserving of it. And thank you, Braulio, for everything you've done to put this program together today. Thank you.
Thank you so much again. I am truly honored to be recognized in this way. All I have ever wanted to do is to serve my community, to serve my state. And this calling to the bench has just given me another platform to do so. Because honestly, at the end of the day, I just want to give back to the state that has given me and my family so very much. So again, thank you so much to all the voluntary bar organizations for recognizing me today. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're so grateful to have you. And now I would like to have, we're going to St. Petersburg. And so we're going to recognize Judge Miriam Irizarry and President Sean Mcquaid.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Mcquaid. I'm the president of the St. Petersburg Bar Association, and thank you for having us on this very special night to recognize all of the members of the judiciary, as well as all of our excellent Hispanic jurists, including our own Miriam Irizarry. So again, thank you. While I'm here on behalf of the St. Petersburg Bar Association, I would be remiss if I did not also say that I'm really here on behalf of everyone in Pinellas County, including the Clearwater Bar Association, where Judge Irizarry was actually the president, and that's where I met her and got to know her. So again, on behalf of everyone in Pinellas County, we are really honored and lucky to have her as a member of our judiciary. Judge Irizarry graduated from Rutgers University and Rutgers School of Law. After practicing up north for many years, she moved to Florida and she rose through the ranks of the Pinellas County Clerk's Office, where she eventually became the Chief Deputy and General Counsel of the Clerk's Office before being appointed by Governor Scott. She faced a fierce reelection here in Pinellas County, but we are fortunate that she won. And she currently serves in the VOP division at our criminal courts complex. She is our sole Hispanic judge here in Pinellas County. And this is really a bittersweet moment for all of us, because while we're flattered to be here to recognize her with this award, she has actually put in her notice of retirement. So this is really for us, as I said, a bittersweet moment in that we're able to celebrate her, but also send her off with a wonderful award in recognition and being grateful. So that being said, I present to you the Honorable Miriam Irizarry as the recipient of our Florida Jurist Recognizing Hispanic Excellent Award.
I was saying, I just wanted to thank Sean, first of all, and thank the Broward County Bar Association for putting on this wonderful event and for recognizing us as Hispanic judges. And I feel so honored really to be recognized among my Hispanic colleagues. And so Sean, I'll just go right into my story. And
if you would, yeah. You know, it's interesting. If I could just jump in, you know, it was interesting that Michelle had mentioned that she served on the JNC when Judge Salvador came through, and I did the same for Judge Irizarry, and she has just an incredible bio. So yeah, I was just gonna ask you to really share your interesting story of really rising from poverty. If you could just tell everyone where you're from and about your early beginnings.
All right. Well, thank you so much. And I was born in Puerto Rico, and I am one of 7. And my mom was a single mom. My dad left when we were all very little, and there was a picture there, quick picture of the little shack that I was born in, and where my family lived. And that little shack had like no running water. We got our water from the creek that was in the back. My mom cooked on a fogón, which is like the 4 rocks with the fire there. And we, you know, pretty much had to survive from the food that we grew on the land. And so it was severe poverty. And so my mother's brother and her sisters, they had all moved to New York. So one day, you know, one of the uncles came to visit and convinced my mom that she really should try and get us out of Puerto Rico and to move to New York. And so my mother, she sent my oldest sister first to pave the way for us. My sister went to work at a feather factory in New York. And when my sister had, you know, raised enough money, she sent for my mom and the youngest of us. And so we were separated, and it was a painful separation because despite our poverty there in Puerto Rico, my mom taught us such great love for one another. So we were very, very close family. So a few of us came with my mom. We moved to the tenement slums of New York City. And then when my mom and my sister had enough money there, my mom went to work at that same feather factory. They sent for the rest of us. As soon as we were all together, the building that we moved into burned down. And so we were all homeless now. And so we were all sent to all of our various aunts and uncles until my mom could, you know, bring us all back together. And little by little she did. And we moved to the Lower East Side of Manhattan when, you know, she worked really hard. And then eventually somebody convinced her that she probably should stay home with us and with the little ones and apply for public assistance, which at the time, you know, was called welfare. And so she would take me with her to all the different social service agencies, and I would interpret for her because I picked up the language a whole lot quicker than, of course, she did. And so she always thought of me as her little advocate, you know, and that's where the dream for me to become a lawyer arose. She was a fierce mentor, a cheerleader. She was our rock. She was a strong Puerto Rican woman with strength of character and a vision for each of us. And, you know, she would often say that I was going to be a lawyer, and I would often question her, how is that ever going to happen in the midst of this poverty? I mean, there were days that we went to bed with nothing to eat. But it was all about perseverance and overcoming obstacles and overcoming those challenges. And so when, you know, my family, little by little, we moved from New York to New Jersey and then to Florida. And of course, when one member moved, everybody moved. So we all follow each other. And so when we moved to New Jersey and I was in high school, the Upward Bound program came, by the grace of God, the Upward Bound program came into our school to help minority students that came from economically disadvantaged backgrounds to prepare them and get them ready for college. And through that program, I was able to eventually attend Rutgers College, which was like, you know, we all freaked out when I was finally able to do that. And then from there, as we continued to struggle and before going to law school, there was another program, the CLEO program, that again helped minority students get into school. And so through the grace of God, through these programs, through tuition aid, I was able to go to law school and graduate from Rutgers, New York. And that was, you know, that was like an incredible moment for us because really, you know, coming from where I came from and the conditions that we came from, it was, you know, it was a dream that we thought would never happen. But you know, we were able to overcome, to persevere. And so, you know, once I became a lawyer, my whole thing was that I would only do public service work. And so I went to work for legal services, then the public defender's office, and then eventually I went to work for the clerk. And so it was all about just overcoming those obstacles and persevering to finally become a judge. After years of working, I went first through the nomination process and then through the election process, as Sean mentioned. And so when I was appointed by Governor Rick Scott, and being the first Hispanic judge in Pinellas, that was cause for great celebration in my family and in the community where I'm actively involved. And so I have tried to serve on the bench with humility, with always an empathetic ear, and trying to really listen to the people who come before me, with that sense of empathy, knowing what many of them have also been through. So
Understood.
that's
Your
kind
Honor,
of my story.
I know time is
nutshell.
tight. It is an amazing story. I wanted everyone to be able to share that as I heard it many years ago, and it moved me. Hopefully, it moved some people here. And you are an absolute inspiration to all of us. Thank you for your time on the bench. We appreciate everything you've done, not only for our legal community, but the community at large. And thank you to the organizers of this event. Kudos.
Thank you so much, Sean. And I hope that in some way that has, helped to pave the way in Pinellas County to have a more diverse judiciary. So we'll get to where Broward is one of these days. But big kudos to Broward County for the diverse bench that they have. And thank you everyone for being a part of this program. And thank you, Sean and Melissa. I appreciate it.
Is that the one for $3,300? No, not yet. I have to see it.
Sean, thank you. Excellent. And Judge Irizarry, we had talked the other day. Your story always moves me. So thank you so much. As a fellow Puerto Rican, I'm always moved by it. So thank you. I mean, to all of them, but that story, your story is my parents' story. So thank you.
Thank you, Braulio.
With that, I'd like to invite the folks from Palm Beach. President of the South Palm Beach Bar Association, L.A. Perkins. She will introduce Judge Delgado, and then Kelsey Burke and Dean Zinnick will interview her.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm delighted to be here, and congratulations to all the judges that are being honored tonight. This is just an amazing event. And it's my honor and privilege to introduce Judge Lou Delgado, who immigrated to the United States at the age of 6 with his parents and his brother from Peru. He attended the University of Florida for both his undergraduate as well as his legal education. And while at the University of Florida, he enlisted as a private first class in the United States Marine Corps, which next to his parents was the most influential experience of his life. While he was enrolled in the University of Florida's College of Law, he was recalled to the active service and was deployed to Iraq with the 4th Anglico Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company for Operation Iraqi Freedom. He was the non-commissioned officer in charge of motor transportation operations and provided combat support for an area covering 16,000 square kilometers of hostile territory, and he was decorated for his combat service. Upon his return from Iraq, he resumed his legal education at the University of Florida and became a prosecutor in Palm Beach County. He was the president of the Young Lawyer section of the Palm Beach County Bar, YLS, and president of the Palm Beach County Hispanic Bar Association. He was also a member of the Board of Governors of the Florida Bar Young Lawyers Division. In 2016, Judge Delgado was elected to the Circuit Court of the 15th Judicial Circuit, and he currently presides over juvenile delinquency, juvenile dependency, and unified family court matters in Delray Beach. He presides over a diversion program designed to keep children out of the court system in conjunction with Inlet Grove High School, as well as frequently visiting elementary schools to teach about the court system. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Judge Delgado, and Kelsey and Dean, take it away.
Thank you for having me. Judge, if you'd like to say something, you're more than welcome to, or you want us to start with the questioning?
No, I'm humbled to be able to be here and share today with all these jurists who are so inspirational and qualified. It is very humbling.
Well, maybe we'll get you to say something at the end, hopefully. We were talking the other day, Judge, about your family's upbringing and the challenges you faced growing up. How do you think that's helped you as a jurist, coming from Peru to Florida and becoming a jurist here?
Well, I mean, my story is very much like the stories that you've heard. We came from a place where the rule of law is not what it should be. And we came here, and my dad was a banker in Peru. And when we immigrated to America, he was actually a dishwasher at Café La Rap in Palm Beach. And so that's similar, but, you know, whatever hardships I endured, for me, what I like to talk about and focus on is just how very blessed I am, because I had, and where despite me not having a whole lot of money, I think I grew up wealthier than all my friends because I did have the greatest parents God could ask for, who taught me absolutely everything I needed to know about being an honest and decent person, which is what I try to tell the children in my courtroom every day to do. When they come in, all I ask is that they succeed and that they grow up to be honest and decent people. One of the lessons that my dad taught me was that even if we didn't have a lot of money, we had our dignity. And so I talk a lot about dignity and self-respect and focus on education. Because for me, I believe that is what has allowed me to become the person that I am, is the morals and ethics instilled by my parents and the education that I was able to receive in this wonderful nation.
One of the other words that came up the other day, Judge, was perseverance. And explain to us your perseverance, how it's gotten you to where you are, and how it helps you every day.
And so my mom used to tell me that as good as anybody else for everything. I remember running for student government in high school and being shy and scared, thinking I was going to lose. And my mom said, no, you're as good as anybody else. And I've always remembered that. And so I remember, so I got elected in 2016, and I remember thinking this is big and scary too. But I tell people today not to exclude yourself. This nation is wonderful, our community is wonderful, and they'll accept you, but you can't exclude yourself. And so when I talk about perseverance, I talk about putting down or setting aside any kind of anxieties that you might have and choose to participate in our system. And I think the harder you work at it, the more effort you put into it, the better results you're going to get. Perseverance is incredibly important.
I'm going to conclude my questioning by a quick story about Judge Lou Delgado. We were sitting at a board of directors retreat over on the West Coast. It was 2015. I think you've been on the bench about 7 years, which for me, you know, I got on a little sooner than you. And you said, hey, Judge, what do you know, at the time it wasn't Judge, it was, hey, Lou, what are you going to do? And you go, I'm running for judge next year. And I said, okay, great. And little did I know, next year you got elected. So that's the perseverance firsthand, that you were that dedicated that soon in your career to be a judge. You set the goal, perseverance, and you achieved that goal not less than a year later. So congratulations, Judge Delgado. I'm going to turn it over to Kelsey, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Dean. Thank you, Judge Delgado. And, you know, I'm so very proud of you. I have known you for a very long time. In fact, I was not an attorney when I met you, and you were not a judge. And you were past president of Palm Beach County Hispanic Bar Association. Subsequently, when I became a lawyer, you were the president of the YLS. And so the Hispanic Bar of Palm Beach County is just so truly proud of you, and you were so much deserving of this award. I wanted you to talk to us a little bit about what motivates you. First of all, what motivated you to become a judge, and what keeps you motivated every day to take the bench, put the robe on, and serve the community.
For me, I've always wanted to serve. You know, I thought about this after we spoke, and there's something that happened when I was a kid, and I think about it all the time. But we just immigrated to this country, and the justice talked about it and how in South America the rule of law is not what it is here. And in Peru in the early 80s, there was a great deal of domestic terrorism. It was really scary. It was a very bad place. It was very not safe. And so there was curfews, toque de queda. Now, if you've read your history, you know that the break curfew in South America in the early 80s was a really scary thing. And so nobody did. People would have sleepover kits in their cars or at their friend's house. And if it was dark, you were spending the night. Now, I give you that for context because shortly after we immigrated, I remember my dad was outside and he was smoking a cigarette. And so as a little kid, you walk out there to scold your dad for smoking a cigarette, you know, put that down. And when I walked out, my dad was crying. I think it stuck with me because being that young, I'd never really seen my dad cry before. So I asked him if he was okay. And he told me that you have no idea how much he appreciated being out past dark. And so our freedoms are so very precious. And that's just one example. So everything that I've experienced has motivated me, pushed me towards service. I think that the Marine Corps was a no-brainer for me. That's why the state attorney's office was a no-brainer for me. And that's why the judiciary was where I wanted to go next. Anything that I can do to make sure that this remains the greatest nation on earth for another little boy or little girl decades from now is what I want to do with my life. So service for me has been something that it's just inseparable from Lou Delgado, the man.
Wow. So thank you so much for sharing that. As long as I've known you, I had no idea. We want to thank you for you served in the Marines while you were as president of the Hispanic Bar, the YLS, and on the YLD board. You also continue to give to others. And so we're very much grateful for everything you've done and continue to do. Congratulations. You're much deserving of this award.
Thank you. Again, I'm humbled. I wouldn't be here without the greatest parents ever. But I've also been inspired and motivated by friends and colleagues and other judges. And when I think about what we're here for today, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that before me, there were several other Hispanic judges in Palm Beach County. And I hope I don't miss any, but Nancy Perez and Ronald Alvarez and Edward Artau and Dahlia Weiss and Justice Labarga, who were also inspirations for me as I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So thank you very much. I am very humbled. This is an incredible honor.
Judge Delgado, I'm moved by your story. Thank you. We talked yesterday or the other day. Thank you for your service. From a Navy guy to a Marine, Semper Fi.
Semper Fidelis.
Yeah. Thank you to all the presidents from Palm Beach helping put this together. Appreciate it. And with that, hometown, Broward, I want to introduce Karina Rodriguez, president of the Broward County Hispanic Bar, and Elizabeth Rodriguez, the Rodriguez sisters, chair of the BCBA's Hispanic Lawyer Committee, who will be introducing and interviewing our very own Judge Robert Diaz.
Hello, everyone. This is Karina Rodriguez. I'm the president of the Broward County Hispanic Bar Association, and I'll have Elizabeth Rodriguez also give a shout out.
Hello, everybody. Again, the Puerto Rican Rodriguez, and she's the Brazilian Rodriguez.
That's right. You can tell by the spelling of the Rodriguez, the S or the Z. It makes a difference. It is truly an honor to have worked with such a great team of people to bring this event together, and it's such an honor to be among such special lawyers and judges tonight. I'm thrilled to introduce an interview with Elizabeth Rodriguez, our wonderful Judge Robert Diaz of Broward County. Judge Robert Diaz is Broward County's longest sitting Hispanic judge. He has served on the bench for over 28 years. He has been on the criminal division for the majority of that time. His family is from Cuba, and he grew up here locally, somewhat locally, in Hialeah, South Florida. On the next slide, you will see that there's a great picture of Judge Diaz when he was in high school. His childhood dream, as you may know, was to become a professional basketball player, and he became an excellent player in pursuit of that dream, and he also became an excellent coach. Judge Diaz is also musically talented. He knows how to play the guitar, and he often performs at a local assisted living facility for Christmas. One of his favorite foods is Cuban sandwiches. And then we have the next slide, some more information about Judge Diaz. Judge Diaz was the first Hispanic in 20 years to serve as a judge in Broward County when he was appointed in 1992. We do have great diversity in Broward County now, but back when he was appointed, that was certainly not the case. Like I mentioned, he's the longest sitting Hispanic judge on the bench in Broward County. Judge Diaz is extremely involved in community service activities and in mentoring activities. Among many, many other things, he created Lawyers for Literacy. That was an initiative with the Broward Young Lawyers to read to first graders and kindergartners. He is the judicial liaison for the Summer Judicial Internship Program at the courthouse. He hosts an annual luncheon for Hispanic law students. He has taught other judges for over 25 years, and he mentors many judges, lawyers, and students. As a matter of fact, in 2017, Judge Diaz received the Harvey Ford Award at the State of Florida Conference of County Court Judges. This is the highest award for county court judges for service to the community. And in 2018, he was selected as NSU Alumni of the Year and received the Stewie Award for his incredible work. So it is with great honor that we present to Judge Diaz the Florida Jurist Recognizing Excellence Award.
Thank you so much. As everybody said, I think Hispanics are kind of humble, at least when we're in public, not when we're not. When we're there with ourselves, we're okay. But I'm humbled because I told both Ms. Rodriguez with an S and Ms. Rodriguez with a Z that I really don't like to talk about myself. I do have to say a few things because talking about my childhood, I grew up in Hialeah, and as Judge Izerari said, she knew poverty. Well, I think I was in poverty, but I didn't know it because I lived in Hialeah. And I thought we were rich because I could go to McDonald's once in a while and Dairy Queen. So I guess I never understood it very much. But my parents both were union workers. One of them worked, my dad worked at Pan American Airways, and my mom worked at a factory making clothes. So I had the pleasure of walking on picket lines with both of them when I was a child and kind of learned a lot just watching what was going on there. But it taught me to really realize that sometimes you have to fight for what's right. So what happened to me is I went to college. I didn't do much in high school, but I played basketball, so I thought that was great. Didn't get a scholarship. So I went to college, but this is a little secret. It took me 9 years to get out of college. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do. I thought I knew what I was doing. When you're 18, you know everything. Well, I knew nothing. But I finally graduated after 9 years with a degree in liberal arts and decided I wanted to go to law school. So Nova Law School was nice enough to let me in. I did my 3 years there. I then became a public defender for 8 years, where I had 125 jury trials in 8 years. I loved being in the courtroom. Somebody said, hey, we need a Hispanic judge in Broward County. I said, well, gosh, go find one. And they said, no, we want you. And I said, well, I'm helping people now. Why would I do that? And they said, well, as a judge, you can really help a lot more people. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. What do I have to do? Put your name in. Okay, so I put my name in. Luckily, on the third time, I got the appointment from Governor Childs. And I was July 15th. And I had an election September 3rd with 2 opponents who had already been running for a year. So I said, what do I do? And they said, well, go out there and sell yourself and tell them you're a great judge. I said, okay. As a Hispanic, we only know how to work hard. We don't take the things that people say to us like, oh, you don't stand a chance. you'll never make it, you're just a token, because that's what everybody was telling me. And I said, I thought they appointed me to win this thing. What's going on? So I hustled my friends, my family, myself all around Broward County. I won in 1992. I was the first Hispanic judge appointed or elected after 20 years in Broward County. And I won by the highest number of votes of any judge in the history of Broward County at the time. So even though they told me I couldn't win with a Hispanic last name, I somehow did it. But I got some good advice when I was running. Somebody said, I said, you know, if I take this job, they're going to say I got it because I'm Hispanic. And this judge looked at me and said, well, what do you care why you get the job? Just do a good job when you get there. So I said, hey, that sounds like good advice. So that's what I tried to do. For 28 years, I've been involved in the community. I try to help all the law students, the high school students. I teach a street law class. We teach kids about the law. I try to help the young lawyers. We started the Lawyers for Literacy. They're always kind enough to invite me back, even though I'm not young anymore. So I work really hard at being out in the community and trying to help them and show that Hispanic judges are good people, just as most judges are good people. But Hispanic judges really work hard and care about their community. And that's why I'm out there, because once I started volunteering, everybody wanted me to help. So for 28 years, I've been doing it. But I couldn't have done it without my parents showing me what life was like, and without my beautiful daughter, Gabriella, and my wife, Diane, because they let me do all the things that I'm out there doing every day. They support me, they help me, and they push me along, and they're very proud. So that's why I'm here.
Thank you very much, Judge Diaz. That's a story that we know, but thank you for sharing that with this larger audience. Another thing that you shared with us, both previous, our previous events and things like that, was that when you were younger, you worked at a crisis hotline. And I know you've shared that story with Karina and myself. You specifically told us about qualities and characteristics and skill sets that you learned in that job. Do you mind sharing that with the group and how you feel like those skill sets have helped you be a good judge?
I was working at Switchboard of Miami, which was a crisis intervention line back in the 70s. And what I learned there, while I was a counselor, I took some training, and they taught me about active listening. And that's listening without giving the answer to somebody. Because when the people call in a crisis, if you help them out of the crisis, give them all the information they need and do it for them, they never learn how to get out of a crisis themselves. So they taught us to do active listening and saying things like, what do you think you can do? Asking what their options were. And therefore they worked themselves out of their issues sometimes. It was very, very interesting work. I learned a lot about a bunch of programs all around the county, down in Dade County at the time. And they taught me that all you have to do to help people is really listen. And as a judge, that's what we do all the time. My one saying that I always say, it's not mine, I stole it from Mary Angelou, and it says, people might not remember what you say, but they'll always remember how you made them feel. And that's what I try to give my life every day, to do that, especially as a judge, because somebody in front of you, it's the way you say it to them. It could be the tone, it could be anything. That's very important to them, how you made them feel. They might not hear you, but they can feel you. And as Hispanics, we're good at that. We're good at emoting, and we're good about giving out our feelings. And that's what I try to do, to inspire people and at least let them know that when they come to me, they're heard, and I make them comfortable when they're in my courtroom.
Thank you for that. And now that you mentioned the active listening, as a former street law student, I can tell that you've definitely carried that skill set with you through the years. You, as we mentioned, you've been on the bench for 28 years, and you've shared with us previously that diversity on the Broward bench has gotten better. How do you think that the improved diversity amongst your colleagues here on the bench in Broward has helped you all become better judges?
Well, I always say, and I say it about my student luncheon that I have, if you want to have a good time, get some Hispanics together, have some good food, a little bit of music, and talk. And every time I sit at the back of that lunchroom and watch everybody talking, they haven't seen each other for a while, because we get the Hispanic community together. I feel the same way about the Hispanic judges that I have now with me. We see each other in the hallway. I think we're a little bit friendlier to each other than we are to the other judges or the other people we meet. We have a lot of camaraderie. We do talk a lot. We're supportive of each other. We call each other. We help out when it's needed. If one of us gets an election like I did in 2018, they're always there to listen and to help. And I think that's something that has grown a lot in Broward County. I look forward to more Hispanic judges, and I hope that we someday, I don't want to say take over, but I do want to say, I hope we are a majority, because I think we're going to be in Broward.
Thank you so much, Judge. That was great. We really appreciate everything you do for Broward County and different people and judges throughout the state as well.
Braulio, forgive me, could I give 30 seconds to?
Chief Judge, you always have I give you a minute.
Oh, I appreciate that. To congratulate Judge Diaz also. I've known Judge Diaz for the past 16 years. He's one of those folks that is always doing some extracurricular activity with students or kids. There's not a time you go by and there isn't a group of people in his courtroom. So I commend him for that. And I guess I would just say, Bob, I didn't know it took you 9 years to get through undergraduate, but having known you 16 years now, I probably could figure out, yeah, that might happen with Bob. Bob, on behalf of the circuit, we congratulate you. You're just an outstanding member of the judiciary.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Chief. And with that, our neighbors to the south, I would like to, and I was remiss initially, introduce Rick Chisever, who is president of the North Dade Bar Association, one of our crew that was part of this whole event, putting it together. He is an attorney at Rick Chisever, PA. He practices family law. He's a red belt in Taekwondo and is a rabbi.
Yeah, Shana Tova, everybody. Happy New Year.
Bevakasha, Rabbi, Bevakasha.
I am president of the North Dade Bar Association, one of the oldest bar associations in the state of Florida, and we always welcome Judge Soto at our events. She comes through traffic because we are North Miami Beach, so we always thank you when you come to our lunches. As a gringo who was invited to this event, I'm very happy to be here. And to show some multiculturalism, Soto, the word Soto, is a Zen Buddhist school of Japan characterized by the practice of sitting meditation leading to gradual enlightenment. And when I read Judge Soto's biography, and Braulio only said I have 2 to 3 minutes, it's a lot longer than that, but she has definitely enlightened the court system. She has been It's her 3rd term right now as Chief Judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit, and she is the first woman and the first Hispanic Chief Judge in our circuit. She has brought so much innovation to Miami-Dade. She has made many divisions go paperless, and she also created the Unified Family Court Division, the Unified Children's Court Division, and if anyone has ever been to that courthouse, it is one of the most technologically advanced courthouses, as well as architecturally, it's amazing. Judge Soto has led the research, led the nation in research-based therapeutic specialty courts, and she oversaw the creation of a veterans court that addresses the very specific needs of the community of our veterans. She also created GRACE, which is part of the Unified Children's Court Division, and it deals with the treatment and rehabilitation of minor victims of human trafficking, and it's the first of its kind in the nation. She also partnered with Florida Association of Women's Lawyers Fall to create lactation areas in all of the courthouses, as well as in collaboration with the YWCA, she established a court care at the criminal court, the Richard E. Gerstein building, which offers a safe place for parents to leave their children while they are attending court. And for any of the family lawyers out there, you know how many people bring their children to court, and that is an amazing thing. One of the forefront that she has done, and I think every civil lawyer in Miami thanks her, is she helped spearhead the creation of a new court building. As everyone knows, the one on Flagler Street is dilapidated and is a major health risk to enter that building, but hopefully soon we will have a new courthouse, all spearheaded by Judge Soto, part of her enlightenment. She graduated from the University of Miami School of Law. She teaches there. She's on a lot of committees, and she basically thanks her parents, Osvaldo and Bertilla Soto, who taught her from an early age the importance of working towards freedom, equality, and the protection of individual rights. She also credits her great career to her husband, Gabriel Rodriguez, and her daughter, Bertilla Fernandez, who are her daily sources of strength and inspiration. She has won so many awards. She has won the DCBA's 2018 Johnny M. Ridgely Award, the 2017 Judge Rosemary Barquette Women of Distinction Award, the 2015 In the Company of Women Award presented by the Miami-Dade County, the 2013 Women Making History Award presented by the Florida Association of Women's Lawyers, and the 2013 Justice Award presented by the League of Prosecutors. Judge Soto is known for her kindness and her down-to-earth demeanor. She always finds a moment to say hello and even give a warm Cuban hug to everybody who is deserving. She loves football and she loves University of Miami. So as I introduce Judge Soto, let's all give her the U and enlighten us with the reason why you are so deserving of this award.
Wow, I don't even know who you were talking about, but she sounds incredible. Thank you so much. First, I want to thank Braulio, who I think we're going to be friends forever after this because he's so wonderful. The Broward County Bar, Chief Judge Jack Tudor, my partner in crime, who's always there to help Dade County and advice on how to run our county over here in Miami. Justice Coriel, welcome. I'm so excited to be on a panel with you as a judge. And a shout out to Bob Diaz, who actually taught me in new judges. So everything I know as a judge is because of you, Bob. He's awesome. And to all the 11th Circuit Court judges that are on, I say hi, I know they're watching. As you said, definitely I'm here because of my parents. We all know the Cuban story of Castro taking over Cuba and the communism that came to that country. My parents came over in 1960. My father fought in the Bay of Pigs. He had been a lawyer in Cuba, but obviously did not practice in the United States immediately. He was then moved by the CIA to Wyoming and then to Virginia, where I was born, and then to Iowa. And he was a professor at Iowa State for 10 years. I never knew he was a lawyer in Cuba during that time. We moved to Miami when I was 10. I wanted to be a lawyer because of Perry Mason. Francis and I both know that. But I guess I always knew inside that my dad must have been a lawyer. And so my parents sacrificed everything for my 3 brothers and I to live the American dream. In our house, we talked about politics at the table. We talked about religion at the table. Nothing was held back because my parents didn't want us what they called to be useless idiots. They wanted us to be a part of the system. They wanted us to be a part of public service. They wanted us to give back to this country who had given them freedom and equal rights and democracy and opportunity. So I, just like everyone else, am a product of my background. And I'm so proud to be a Cuban American, so proud to be a Hispanic, and proud to be honored with all the other judges that have been honored today. So I know that you might have some questions. I'll let you ask the questions.
Chief, yes, let me invite Francis de la Guardia and Lisa Capote to ask you some questions, Chief.
Good evening, everyone. Francis de la Guardia, Cabo President. First and foremost, Chief Judge Soto, congratulations from one Hialeah girl to another. Very admirable, and I congratulate you on your honor. I've known you my whole legal career, and as we were preparing for this, on Monday, I learned a couple things that I didn't know about you, but it is truly my honor and Cabo's honor to be able to be part of your recognition today. Chief Judge, I will echo what Richard said. Everybody that knows you knows your professionalism, your ethics, and the number of awards that you've gotten and that you deserve. But in addition, they know your kindness and your grace. And we're all very lucky, and I consider myself lucky to have such a wonderful Chief Judge in our circuit. And with that said, would you like to elaborate? When we were talking on Monday, we discussed how I didn't know you were born in Virginia and that you grew up in Iowa till you were 10. And one of my questions to you was, how did you do it as a Hispanic in Iowa? I imagine in Ames, Iowa, there weren't many Hispanics.
No, there weren't, but we did find them. We had a Spanish family who the father was a doctor, and we would hang out every weekend, do everything together. They had 6 kids, we were 4. We made croquetas, puding de pan, black beans. We spoke in Spanish. We were always brought up to speak Spanish as well as English. And there was another Cuban family that came in, the Grauperas, but that was much later and only for about a year. But we did hang out together, and it was very important for our parents to inculcate in us our heritage. And I was telling you that my mom used to hear Cuando Salí de Cuba by the Sandpipers in the basement, and in the corner sometimes she would sit and she would cry. And you know, I was young and I didn't understand why. I knew we were Cuban, I knew that they had left their country, but I didn't really understand the pain that they were going through being alone, you know, up north. Although they spoke the language because both my parents had studied in the States for a time, you know, they felt very lonely and they missed their roots. Very cold. They had been in Wyoming, Virginia, and Iowa, and they, you know, they were missing the tropics. But it was a great experience to grow up in the Midwest.
In addition to that, one of the things that you had said when we talked on Monday in relation to your father and all the other jurists have experienced some type of struggle or challenge in their background. If you could just elaborate on your father, he was a lawyer when he came from when he came as an exile, as a refugee here from communist Cuba, what he encountered and where he started and how much of a role model he was to you.
Well, my dad's my hero. And, you know, when I was watching all of you at the beginning and seeing, you know, Judge Salvador starting to speak and Judge Delgado and Judge Irizarry and Judge Diaz, this would be his biggest, happiest day because he's alive, but he doesn't understand computers very well. He's not currently walking. And sometimes he's in Cuba in his mind and sometimes he's here. But this was his dream. He was one of the founders of the Cuban American Bar Association. He was I think the 4th president, and he was on the board of directors for 27 years. He was the chairman of the Spanish American League Against Discrimination for 27 years. He fought English only throughout the state. He brought in English Plus. He registered Hispanics to vote so that they would have a voice in Miami-Dade County. He fought for judges to be on the bench. He worked with the Hispanic National Bar, with the NAACP, with the B'nai B'rith, with the Jewish Federation. It was his dream that Hispanics have a position in leadership, not just on the bench, but in local and state and federal government. So I know that he would be so proud of what we're doing here today. He was a lawyer in Cuba, and obviously like I said, he didn't come here and he didn't practice. He became a teacher. The CIA wanted him out of Miami. Things were very hot after the loss in the Bay of Pigs. And they sent my father, my 3 brothers, who were all under the age of 5, and my aunt and my mom to Wyoming. And he was a Spanish teacher during the day and the janitor at night. And their home was the basement of the high school that my father taught in an Indian reservation. And they had cots and one little coil burner to cook. And my father called and said, listen, you know, I'm grateful for the opportunity, but I really think I need to go back to Miami. This is too cold and not comfortable. I don't mind cleaning, I don't mind teaching, but this is not what I expected. So they sent him, or they gave him the opportunity to go to Longwood College, which was the last segregated county in the country, where the public school system was closed because they did not want blacks and whites to go to school together. And my brothers couldn't go to school, and they could not afford to pay for private school. And my mother felt like they were under a bubble. They were olive-skinned. You know, they were foreign, and they just did not like it. And so my father said, look, thank you again for the opportunity, but I'm going back to Miami. And so finally, they said, look, what about Iowa State? And he said, okay. And he went to Iowa State. He wrote 5 books on language and Hispanic culture, got his tenure, and when the certificate program for Cuban American lawyers to come back in Gainesville and study, yes, Gators, although, you know, I don't like them very much. The certificate program came about, he decided to come back to Miami. And so he took a sabbatical and he sold insurance. And I said, I love my dad so much. He was the #1 salesman with 4 kids, studying law school, driving to Tallahassee on the weekends, or Gainesville, I'm sorry. And he was able to get his law degree. He graduated top of his class, number 2 in the Florida bar. And, you know, the rest is history. He dedicated himself to Hispanic progressive movement and to equality in the police department, equality in government, and he's done amazing things.
And I'm going to echo that, Judge. Yes, he was one of our past presidents of CABA and a founding member, and he did incredible things for CABA and for the Hispanic community. And we're very proud, and it's no wonder he was your inspiration and your role model, along with your mom that you also told me that she was able to keep the fort down and let him achieve everything that he achieved. And obviously it worked because you're an amazing person and an amazing jurist. And I'm going to let Lisa jump in and ask a couple questions because I know we're short on time. And everybody wants to go see the Heat game, I know.
Absolutely.
Your Honor, I'm just going to ask one simple question. Your father's accomplishments are amazing, but I was surprised to learn of your mother's education and what she did. That was an inspiration when I was hearing that story.
So my mother had us 4. She had gotten married at the age of 16, so she had to get her GED, raise us. She went to Iowa State, got her undergrad, and then while my father also taught at Monterrey Tech in the summers, she got her master's degree so in Spanish teaching. So both of them are incredible individuals and shared my father to the public and never complained about him being out there and missing every dinner because he was fighting the good fight and making our place in history stand.
Thank you, Your Honor. I know we're short on time. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Chief Judge, inspiring story. And Diaz, we are fast friends henceforth. I want to, we're coming to the end of this. First of all, I would like to thank everyone you see on the panel up here. Everyone's put in a lot of work. These presidents that played roles, of course, the judges, their amazing work that they've done and being so gracious. My president that lets me run with things and get things done, Robert Vaughn, our chief judge, who's always there. There are some people behind the scenes that you didn't get to see, and Aaron and Karina and any of you want to jump in, some of the folks that helped plan. A lot of people have to work together to get this done. So some of the people behind the scenes, we have Michelle Rodriguez, Jeanette Sanchez, Aslan, Nazarena Hauser, Kristen Palacio, not my personal, but our BCBA staff, Lauren Rigler Capote, who's my right hand. She's the one hosting today. She's always there, managing everything. There's Lauren, she's Fabu. And Andrea Salazar, who does a lot of our video editing. It works for Lauren. I want to thank my colleague executive directors who helped on this from Jacksonville, Craig Shoup, from St. Pete, Melissa Byers, from Palm Beach, Carla Tharp Brown, and from South Palm, Seema Patel. So thank you for your assistance. You know, it takes a village to make all of this stuff happen. It really does. So I am grateful for everyone that helped us make it happen. And Mark Mara handling our Facebook. Thank you, Mark. He's on our board of directors for the Broward County Bar and for the Hispanic Bar. Mark is a mover and a shaker. Look for him in the future. So with that.
And we thank you all for being a part of this historic event today, which will be the first of many for years to come.
Absolutely. Look for this next year. We will continue doing this. Muchísimas gracias. Abrazos, cariño para todo el mundo. Thank you so much.